Very good morning, cadets. Hope you are doing well. I hope you have gone through my previous video sessions, and we are in chapter number 2 from political science, that is constitutional design. In class 8th, we studied the meaning of constitution. We celebrate the Constitution Day on 26 November every year. So this chapter we will study in detail what's the meaning of constitution, how such a powerful document called constitution is framed, and we compare the constitution of India with constitution of South Africa and American constitution. So cadets, let us start the chapter, that is constitutional design. We noted in the previous chapter that in a democracy the rulers are not free to do what they like. There are certain basic rules that the citizens and the government have to follow. In such a rules together are called as constitution. As a supreme law of the country, the constitution determines the rights of citizen, the powers of the government, and how the government should function. So what the constitution decides? The constitution decides the rights, how the government should function. And in this chapter we are going to study the basic questions, and we are trying to get the answer to the basic question, that is how the constitution is designed. That is what constitutional design, how the constitution drawn up, who designed them, and why it is designed. All those things we are going to study in this particular chapter. One of the recent instances designing the constitution for a democratic state is that of South Africa. We begin the chapter by looking at what happened there and how South Africans went about the task of designing the fundamental values of the constitution and how it controls the citizens' life and that of the government. So let us start the chapter. Democratic constitution in South Africa. So let us start the chapter with the opening of the sentence or the statement of father of South African constitution, or father of modern South Africa, Nelson Mandela. I have fought against the white domination and I have fought against the black domination. I have cherished the ideal of democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal which I hope to live for and achieve, but if needs to be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die. So what the exactly explained, or what the person is intended to do, that is, he clearly says that it is exploitation, not domination, is not only by the whites in South Africa, because I suffered white domination or the black domination, because he suffered the worst uh, because of the apartheid policy. So he says that I want to live in a society, it should be in a ideal condition. It should be in an ideal condition. So even he says that I am ready to die for such a situation. This was Nelson Mandela being tried for treason, because Nelson Mandela was kept in the prison for very long, 28 years, for fighting against the apartheid policy. Apartheid policy. So what is apartheid policy? Apartheid is nothing but treating people on the basis of their color and race. So Nelson Mandela being tried for treason by the white South African government, he and 7 other leaders were sentenced to life imprisonment in 1964. So he was kept in Robben Island and for 28 years. So why he was kept in the Robben Island? Because he fought against the very discriminative policy, that is policy of apartheid. So he spent 28 years in prison, that to in his own country. Why he fought? Why he was in prison? Because he fought against the discrimination by the white minority. White, of course, they were nearly 20%, but the majority and the country belongs to the blacks. That is, of course, the original or native Africans. A signboard. Now you see, this was a signboard which was seen in South Africa in the era or the period of apartheid in 1953. So what signboard clearly says that? Signboard, you see, you may be recalling that such signboards are generally seen in where the huge power transformers are there, or the electrical wires are there, kept there. It is always said that danger. But what is written here? Let us check. Natives. Natives means the people belongs to South Africa. Indians and the colored. If you enter these premises at night, you will be listed as missing. So natives means native Africans, Indians and colored people. If you enter this area, you will be treated as missing, in the sense that the armed guards will shoot you on sight. Savage dogs, beware of the cops. So what happens? It's very clearly says that Indians, native, that is South Africans, and the colored, they were treated even the worse than dogs or the worse than animals. So the signboard clearly says that don't cross here. If you crossed, definitely the police will kill you, shoot on sight, and they declare you as missing in the list of missing. So that is what the cruelty or the level of the harassment which was there in South Africa during the period of apartheid. Now you see another signboard. This signboard was on the Durban beach in English. So it clearly explains that the city of Durban, under section 37 of the Durban Beach bylaws, the bathing area is reserved for the sole use of members of white race group. So it is very clearly said that even the local or the natives were not allowed to take bath in the place which absolutely belongs to them. That is the level of harassment which they suffered, and the policy was known as apartheid policy. So apartheid policy, and Nelson Mandela fought against apartheid policy, and for that it was treated as treason or working against your own country, and is kept under dreaded or most notorious prison in Robben Island for 28 years. Struggle against apartheid. Apartheid was the name of system of racial discrimination unique to South Africa. The white Europeans imposed this system on South Africa during 17th and 18th centuries. So during 17th and 18th century, a restriction was imposed by whom? By white Europeans on South Africa. During 17th and 18th centuries, the trading companies from Europe occupied with arms and forces in the way they occupied India. But unlike India, a large number of whites had settled in South Africa and became the local rulers. So in South Africa, the whites, or the European white settlers, they settled down in Europe and started harassing the local people or the native of South Africa. Apartheid is a policy divided the people on and labeled them on the basis of their skin color. So what is the reason to divide the people? It's purely the color of the skin. The native people of South Africa are black in color. They made up about 3/4 of the population and were called blacks. So natives were called as blacks. Besides these two groups, there were people of mixed races who were called colored. Who are colored? The colored people who migrated from India, and the white rulers treated all non-whites as inferior. So what is very important, we have to understand that all non-whites, they were all treated as inferior by the European settlers. The non-whites did not have even the voting right. So this is a clear case of discrimination in their own motherland just because of the color. The apartheid system was particularly oppressive for the blacks. They were forbidden from living in the white areas. They could work in white areas only if they had a permit. Trains, buses, taxis and hospitals and hotels, they were not allowed to move freely in the theatres, beaches and swimming pools. Even the public toilets, they were all separate for the whites and blacks. This was clearly called as segregation. Segregation is nothing but separation. But here the separation is purely on the basis of color. So they were denied the basic rights even though they belongs to their country. The European settlers, they denied it. They could not even visit the churches where the whites worshipped. Blacks could not form association or protest against the terrible treatment. Since 1950, the blacks, colored and Indians fought against the apartheid system. They launched the protest marches and strikes. The African National Congress, was the umbrella organization that led the struggle against the policies of segregation. This included many workers or working unions and the Communist Party. Many sensitive whites also joined African National Congress to oppose apartheid policy and played a leading role in this struggle. Several countries denounced or stopped apartheid policy as unjust and racist. But the white racist government continued to rule by detaining those who opposed and by torturing and killing the thousands of blacks and colored people. So please try to understand. Now we discussed about apartheid policy. What is apartheid policy? Apartheid policy is nothing but discrimination people purely on the basis of color. And people started discriminating on the basis of color in their own motherland. So that's the reason why it was very, very cruel. Nelson Mandela fought against apartheid policy, and that was considered as treason by the white government, and was kept in prison for nearly 28 years. Once he was released from the prison because of the international pressure by United Nations organization, even the democratic countries like India, they all gone very strongly against the South African government, so that the South African government was forced to withdraw the apartheid policy. And once it is withdrawn, Nelson Mandela became the president of South Africa. And what is the beauty of Nelson Mandela? Even though he suffered a lot, if he wanted, he could have taken vengeance, revenge, but definitely it's not done that. So in the next class we will discuss about how South African Constitution was framed, how the South African Constitution was framed, and how the South African Constitution beautifully incorporated several objects or the several basic ideologies which definitely makes South African Constitution better than any other democratic constitutions. So cadets, write down the meaning of apartheid policy, write down the place where Nelson Mandela was kept in prison for 28 years. Please explain, write down what are the problems done, what is the level of exploitation done on the blacks by the white government in South Africa. So in the next class, let us study how the South African Constitution is framed. Till then, take care. Wish you a wonderful day. Thank you.